Hey, how you doing? Guess what? I look the same. That's probably a good thing. Yeah, sort of the end of the day. Got a couple hours before I gotta go, and I kind of like to fill those with doing a painting. We're gonna try. Got this at the thrift shop the other day. Should be less glare for you. I don't know what. Well, there is some glare. We'll see. Probably won't have any glare after I put a bunch of paint on. I thought it'd be good to try though, because we're not going to do any pre-mixing. You can see the scene we're going after. You were probably wondering, wow, he's getting so colorful on this. He's getting so colorful now. That maybe he's out of his sepia frame. You know, maybe he's tired of that. Nah. I'm gonna do sepia one today. Sepia-ish. Umberish. Board's been prepped smooth. It's prepped with burnt umber. Thinned down, that's the kind of tone you get. I'll zoom in on yeah, we'll do the same thing we've been doing where you can kind of, because I think it's good to see how I break down the image into the drawing stage, and then I'll zoom in and do the rest of the painting. So here we go. Yeah, we need some medium. Let's talk about our limited palette first. Lead white. This is from good old Williamsburg. It's getting a bit dry and gludgy, so it'd be good to use it. Yellow ochre, Daler Rowney, Georgian. Raw umber, also Daler Rowney, Georgian. That's actually some burnt sienna from, I don't even know if I'll be using it, but I put it there. I basically scraped these off my other palette. A little bit of black. My plan is to keep most of it here when I bring in the black, just to be some little darker spots, so black won't be predominating. And as far as color mixes and things like that, we'll be doing. I wonder what the color's like there. Not too bad. I think it's better than the metal. You'll have to let me know. I know I had a gentleman complain, I don't know, a couple months back. I appreciated him calling it out, you know. The glare off the palette was bothering him. Yeah. So when I came across this at the, well, they don't call it a thrift store out here. They call it an op shop. Don't know why. I don't know why. Our medium Archival Oils brand, odorless lean. It says the healthy alternative. I don't know why. Doesn't smell too bad. And as is my way, I might just have one little bit. This is a 0 from DOS Bristle Filbert El Cheapo brush, probably $1.50 New Zealand. I know American, that's like $1 brush, but it's you can see it's been used. It's taking on some characteristics. I do have to keep up on these a little more. Like I'm seeing a little hair there. I don't like. Yeah. I mean, they don't last. They're not the same quality as the. I don't have any idea how this palette's going to work either, by the way. So, but I'm not doing a lot of color mixing, so you don't worry too much about it. Most of my drawings can be done with raw umber. I have no idea how this is going to throw out my colors and stuff either. So this is one reason why I thought, oh, a good one. Now, this already breaks kind of a rule where the horizon's smack dab in the middle. That's a rule. You're not supposed to do that, and I love doing it, so I do it all the time. I'm going to do it right now. I don't care about that rule. The reason for that rule is because, you know, you're supposed to subdivide your painting in some interesting ways, you know, rule of thirds and all that. Yeah. Nice. As usual, glasses off. Glasses off just helps me see the big shapes. Now, there's a lot of diagonals in this. And some things I don't like. I don't like how this closes off here. I think I'm going to bring in a diagonal and open that. Also, I'm not that into these rocks here. I might just open all that as well. Maybe just have one bit of rock coming in, get rid of one little side. This is a bit of an issue as well. This is, of course, one of the differences between photography and paint. So since we already know, I'm stopped a little short. And is this gonna work? I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Other big diagonal here. I'm gonna break that up. Got ideas. This could be a complete failure, just so you know. Don't think I got ideas though. I think I can make it something good. We'll find out. Again, I kind of like that there, but I'm gonna hold off for now on that. And like I say, some of this is reflection. Yeah, since it's monochromatic, a lot of this will be. By the way, I did order. Sorry for the fan noise. Sorry for the car noise. Sorry for the chair creaking. And I mean that because I'm not usually that into like lots of apologizing and stuff. But come down over here. Shush you. Don't you be growling at people. If you haven't guessed, this is a pretty old photo. It's an antique. I want to get it right. Yeah, with all the trees like this. A bit more random. Not that into the tree trunk thing. We might put some of that in though. Yeah, there's a diagonal there, but you see if you look at the reference, it's like psh, I broke it up. That's what I keep telling myself. Okay. Yeah, I see a bit of an issue there. No, that's one thing I really like about the dark. I can erase. You saw me do that in one of the last videos. What's happening is like, so I'm thinking I got the river going like that. I'm gonna try a little something here. Probably won't work. This is I didn't usually paint with paint thinner. I'll put some on this board. Probably won't work. It's probably just going to be dark and stained. Yeah, maybe. Okay for this. Everything we're painting now is going to get covered. Any one thing I was starting to say is like a lot of what we're doing is going to be in the final painting. I mean, because it's all, you know, we're drawing with this tone, and this is raw umber. You wouldn't think there'd be so much red in a color like that, would you? So we're relying on a bit of imagination here. I think we're going to stagger it as we fade into the distance here. We don't need to find this. There's mist in it, so mist can be quite hard to paint. I'm not even worried about it. I'm just saying that I can lean on it. Yeah. Okay, so I'm already feeling like this brush is too small for a lot of things I want to do. The moves I want to make. Wipe that off. We'll come back to you. This is a 4, and I've used it so much it pretty much is rubbed off. This will show you if you clean your brushes well, you can use them and use them and use them. This is a Robert Simmons Signet series. Number 4 flat, although now it looks like bright. This I don't want super dark. Down here I do want that almost my darkest. I gotta do some board prep, do some more rough boards, because what I've really been enjoying lately is like doing some on the smooth, some on the rough. It just keeps it different. Like on the rough, there's a lot of things I can do. Yeah, you know, just by rubbing on things, I get certain textures and stuff. I don't get that on the smooth, but what I get on the smooth is like, you know, more of a variety of values. Also, the smooth has been a lighter tone and the darker. I'm not gonna get into a bunch of grasses and stuff here. I'm not gonna get a lot of these rocks and stuff that are here right now. Thinking big shapes as I come up here. Yeah, so I ordered a new microphone, returned that last one. Amazon was really great too. They refunded my shipping, which is, I wouldn't have bothered if I lived in the United States still, but I don't. And shipping, it cost me quite a lot to send those back, and it just was really bad. I mean, it worked the first day, and then it decided not to work, and oil, we're almost out of oil. I did use a lot of oil in this early bit. Also, like I said, there's a bunch of tree trunks in there. Avoid all the little tweaky little things like that. You might think, oh, those tree trunks are so important. Oh my god, I need them. Maybe. Yeah, I think I've done a good job here. So again, yeah, okay, you heard from me. If you're coming to the channel all the time, yeah, deviate from your reference. Yeah, so do we need that down there? Is that helping? Is that really? I want something in this space. Could be, I mean, it's nature, so there's a lot of different things. I just don't think the grasses there is going to be good. I'm going to have some reflections coming down from the water here. Yeah, like that. And kind of creeping up on this. I say I got another plan too. Don't you fret. Don't you worry. Let's get into some of that. So here's the plan. Remember I said those rocks and things. And you can tighten these up. I actually like the ones that come on the plastic that are big and fluffy and advertise how soft they are. They don't work for painting. I get these from the I don't know, I want to be politically correct. The store with the people that come from Eastern part of the world. They have these. They have wood. They're not as soft. So you say, well, why didn't you just paint the rocks, eh? Because you don't need all those rocks, that's the thing. You just need something there. So by sort of just breaking it out of the breaking it out of the dark bit, we're getting like a more natural result. That's my feeling. So like my background is I was an illustrator, and as a young guy, all my favorite illustrators were the super detailed guys, you know. And that was me for years too. Even when I was a professional illustrator, I just spent hours illustrating things and detailing things. I'm over it at this point. I don't think it pays. I know it doesn't. It especially doesn't. Maybe it might in an illustration, but in paintings, definitely no. I've got other stuff going to go in here. I'm going to keep building my darks, but this was a good place to look at the rocks, eh? Nice. Now you can say, there's not much up in our sky. I'll do some stuff. I mean, there's enough there to kind of trigger the imagination. Yeah, so before we get into that, we're going to go a step darker. So, break this brush off. And this will reinforce some of this stuff. And now the question in my brain is, do I want to bring in some black now? Let's try a little bit over here. This was a tiny chunk of not quite dry black. And because I brought it into the umber, and instead of the other way around, it just reads as darker umber. And I like that. It's good call. It's not reading as pure black. Same deal down here. There's a bunch of reflections of things. Why do you even do this? Doesn't matter. We'll be coming in with some opaque paint, so things are like actually still pretty transparent. Here I'm going to resist the urge, and also here we want. Pardon me. We are out of oil. I was pretty meager with that, but it's okay, we got more in the jar. I like it. Oh yeah, I meant to. Probably won't be able to do much there because the paint here is so thin. Yeah, I can't do much. So I know you saw those. You thought, oh, yeah, I can't believe he's not painting those. I have a plan. You guys worry all the time. Just do a couple though. The sky hole will apply there. That's a brush that has no paint on it. Watch out for stuff like this. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. You know what? First of all, those were mirror images of you. Second of all, I want this line. You want strong horizontals going all the way off, not strong all the way off. That's something amateurs do all the time, because of course it'll be in your photo reference, and you just think, oh, nature's like that. Nature may be perfect, but if you follow it as a painter perfectly, you're going to do a bunch of bad paintings. People won't. I'm not going to get into how your mom's the only one that's going to like your bad paintings again. I might be the only guy on YouTube pointing that out, though. So I'm pretty happy. A little more oil. I just don't want to be committed to these holes. Also, this is a little darker as we get off to the side. Stronger than this. To me, that should be further back. Although, not really, but that's okay. Yeah, and right before we decide to start going into the color and stuff, I don't want to be committed to much right now, but I'm going to wipe this off. Wipe it off real good. Go into the oil. This is just oil with no real color. I'm actually going to look at all that color that was in there, though. Yeah, so I'm cleaning my brush with oil. What's really important over here is the reflections. There's going to be some vague stuff there. And then we'll see, we're going to use some of those reflections to close off this side. And you can see that's a lot better. And I think over here we'll go ahead and strengthen this a little bit. Hello.
Hello. Can I see the price of some green, please?
Sure. And we're back. And that was a good breaking point, because we're done drawing. Let's go ahead and zoom in. Let's start doing some other stuff, hey? Hey. Let me get this a little straighter. Sorry. Yeah. Yep, I'm happy with that drawing. Okay, I'm gonna clean our palette off. So far, I'm not minding working on the wood too much. Let's see how it stands up to time. I imagine it would just get more and more dull, which is the reason why I was thinking of enlisting it. Here's some more paper towels. So what's in my brain is like yellowy type sky. I'll show you what I'm gonna do. I'll show you. I think I will use a knife to mix this because we need a good amount of it. Look. Knife's dirty. Oh, and I will zoom out a little so you can see the palette because I've noticed. So that'll be our base. It's too one-dimensional right now. So we'll add some more of this. Already that's giving it some complexity. It's also giving it a green quality. I really don't want that in this painting. If I did, I probably would have gone into some of that. I want more of this. I would have got into that lovely green umber color. But I want everything not full out reds. I just want them sort of neutrally. I do like that. And I can go more or less yellow. I'm going to keep this brush in reserve. And this will be Mr. Skybrush. So, I can already see we're going to need more raw lumber. AKA dirt with oil in it. Okay. I don't know. I think he looks dirty. This is a dirty paper towel. Let's get rid of that. Yeah. So I want a little bit more darkness in the corners. I do like this color. I could make this a dark color in the corners, but I'm going to go a little further with it. So mostly the reason I've got the red on the palette is just to need some black too. Ninja Newton, Griffin, Alkaloid. The only Winsor Newton color that I use, but not because I have a problem with Winsor Newton. I don't like them. They tend not to fit the best pricing profile. I think Gamlin has better, more fair prices for the same quality. Gamlin might feel that the quality was superior. I don't know. Just a touch of that black. Boy, we're really gonna. And there will be a slight greening coming in from the black, so like it. Mostly because I'm going to put some things over the top. See, like that. I don't want this as dark. Wipe up the brush. Now down here in the water it's kind of the same colors, but we wanted things to touch darker in the water. So I'm bringing in some more of that. Some more of this to counteract that greening. I could have just used burnt umber. See? This color looks quite a lot like the colors I have in there, which is good. Just a little there too coming up. You got a lot more flexibility in water than you might think. It's like, don't be Mr. or Mrs. I copy photos. You know, actually, you'd be kind of in trouble if you were me, because sometimes I'm turning roads into streams and things like that. So I wouldn't even have good reference. Here I've got decent reference. Darker. That's just the umber and the red, just so you know. And it's kind of like the color that's there, but it's time to get into actual pigment and not just be relying on that transparency there. And remember, what I'm doing here is designed to go underneath other things. Yeah, so it's like a bit of an echo from the sky. I'm getting into some of this yep, like that. So it's really good, usually like always, you want your darker tones underneath your lighter as you're building things up. Now you can definitely deviate from that, especially on the second color pass. Time to get into some white, actually, because that will give us no real spread. When we get into this yellow, it's still not a huge spread. A little white is going to change everything. And because it's the lead white, you can see it has a very subdued sun effect. So much so that I'm finding some people comment on my brush work, but you know, my brush work is very workmanlike. I just try and get things down. But one thing I pointed out time and time again is, like, especially early on, I just made a point to remember to change the angle of the brush. Also, to leave things alone. Don't over smooth things. Let people people want to see some of the construction of your painting. That's another thing. Like, I already knew, but this Draw Mix paint guy, he points that out too. Everyone over smooths their work. I can do these critiques, you know. And one of the things I've always seemed to point out is how people are over smoothing, over blending, and I can't do that. In fact, I think I'm pretty guilty of that on the figurative stuff. Although, again, I'm trying to remember. So when I tell you something like this, you just put it in your pocket. You know, remember it. So sometimes you can lighten off on your I don't know. My English is not so good, but pull back on your brush pressure, right? Down here, take some of that. Don't. In fact, I saw a painting like that the other day in the shop. Someone had this. Well, first of all, they had everything centered, which looked terrible. Second of all, they had a mountain, a big triangular mountain centered on a square canvas. And they had done a reflection, and you could tell it was a reflection because, you know, we know mountains aren't actually diamonds. But this is distracting me. The fan's blowing my paper towel. I'm gonna get too jiggy with stuff here. No offense to a member of the channel named Jigger. But there'll be a time to get jiggy. I don't know when it is, but you know, I'm sure someone named Jigger would probably want to get jiggy more than someone who wasn't named Jigger. Yeah, like that. this down here not the same as that. Don't do all your stuff the same, okay? Be a painter, not a house painter. Yeah, so what am I doing here? One difference, but not a huge one here. And keep in mind, at any point we could just go plopping in super bright colors, even on the second color pass or on the first color pass. Okay. Like that. I can reserve some spots for some brightness. Down here, I think I'm just going to do the same. Yes, we want to see your brushwork. We want to see. I was just going to say the word struggle, but we don't really want to see your struggle painting. We want to see how you put things together. That's, we don't need another, we don't need a copy of the photo. We don't need it. Nobody wants it. Maybe someone will want it. Actually, someone might buy your photocopy painting. It seems to be pretty popular. What do I know? All I know is what I think works, and I don't think that works. I don't like those kind of paintings. Sometimes people put quite a lot of work into them. Like that. Moving on. Moving on. Wipe the brush off. Maybe we condense this a little bit. It's weird working on the wood. Kind of fun. Okay, so what do we want to do? Well, it's time to really get in there with the white now. A bit more yellow. Diluted a little bit with this. You'll notice a lot of my, actually don't, because a lot of my paintings you don't see the palette, you don't see what I'm doing again. I do a ton of this back and forth. The lighter I go, the more back and forth that I'll do. I like a progression. I like more light at the bottom. Don't be married to anything in your painting. Sacrifice anything you need to sacrifice for the sake of the overall painting. That would include your virtuoso brushwork, or there'll be all kinds of cool stuff that I'll see I've done. I really like. Well, that looks pretty cool. But in fact, I know there was a painting I put up last week. It was like that. It had some real cool little jits and jots and stuff, and some trees. Sacrificed them. I mean, they were still kind of there, but I think I kind of like just. More yellow, more lead white, and that didn't mean nothing. It's the same exact color. Yeah, I don't want it majorly different, but as I get closer and closer to where the sky meets the land, that should be one of the brightest spots in the sky. And the exceptions could be places where clouds are really getting a lot of stuff. Kind of want a bunch of like horizontally type strokes there. It just seems to be the way to go. Now here you've got this reflections of the whatchamacallit, but instead of painting reflections, what I sort of had in my mind was to put in the lighter bit. Okay? And there was a spot here. A weird island thing. Wait a minute. Let's see. If you ever watch any Bob Ross, I'll tell you. You can put some whatever's along the edge there, and people will read that as. Nice. Which way this is. Yep. There you go. A little bit. That's kind of an odd little tuffet shape. Other than that. Tuffet is not a word you hear much, but it's a word. Yeah. It's all right to imply things. You don't have to delineate everything. Nobody wants that anyway. Got cameras for that now. It used to be a time. That'd be good. Yeah, so one thing I kind of want to push the yellows into this area. And then when I'm coming into this area, I'm going to lean more on the umbers. So I'm going to push the umber. I push yellows into the umber instead of umbers into the yellow, and so I'll get a point of difference, I think. Time to clean off the palette. Liking that. Yeah. Liking it. Be careful with this kind of moves. You know, I know what I'm doing. I'm a trained professional. What I'm doing is it's softening, but it's not. Oh, what did I do there? What did I do there? Chunk. I think that was a bit of a stain in the board underneath. Yeah, so that's good. Liking that. I'm actually liking this here. It's just a bit of a rigid paint on it. See a lot of this in the photo reference. And I will show you that again. I just don't want to spend more painting. I'll zoomed out. Well, this is why I like 90% of the 95% of the paintings on my channel. Alright, yeah, the less sky holes I put there, the better. I want one or two though. So, I'm thinking I want to plant some in now. I'm really going to make this darker. Always make your sky holes darker. I said that before, I'll say it again. But just as something says, go and put some in now. Don't do too many. Don't make them all even. It's already even, isn't it? It's okay, I caught myself. Alright, so sky pretty much in. Water, you've got a bunch of horizontal strokes, a bunch of vertical strokes. That's what makes green is water. Like that. Alright, so actually I think we'll do a little mixing. I think we're going to need some more of this red on our palette too. We've been using it. Even though we're mostly using it to, that's the burnt sienna from De La Rowney. It's cold burnt sienna. It's faux burnt sienna. It's actually red iron oxide. I think it's PB101. Well, PR101. It's totally transparent. Always look for those codes on your paints, your favorite paints, because that, let's face it, De La Rowney didn't make that pigment. Yeah, so I'm going to stock in a few more darker darks, which are easier to judge now because, and again, like I was telling you a bunch of times, if I started with black and tried to bring things in black, they're very hard to move. Whereas if I start with umber, raw umber in this case, and bring in black, it's going to maintain much more of its umberness. And I just want some of that. I'm going to add some red to this too. This is not green. And because it's transparent, you can see a lot of it disappears, but it's having that counteracting effect. Because I laid some down, it didn't do nothing. I just want things thicker a little bit here. So maybe you're noticing I tend to this is a limited palette, but the approach is very similar to the same approach I take on the last colored ones I've done. I pretty much do the same things all the time. But there's always every scene will present its own challenges, and not exactly formula based like your Bob Ross or whatever, but I have certain patterns that I repeat, and those help support me. I don't like a bunch of open stuff at the edges. A lot of grasses and things here. Whether now's the time to get into a lot of that, I don't know, if I even want them. Grasses, you gotta be careful with grasses at the bottom, right? I'm funny about that. Okay, I like that. And yeah, I'm gonna use this brush. I've got that little brush for the darkest of the darks. So what are we gonna do here? We're gonna come into this with a lot more of this, and then kind of give it some identity. We're gonna come into this, and what we're trying to do is get some different quality than the sky has. Somewhat. Doesn't have to be black. There's no black in the sky, so that might be one way to do that. We just mixed raw umber. Isn't that great? I like that. Got a big buildup of paint in my brush up. So that's one reason I like to pre-mix colors, because you'll get, if you're doing all your mixing with your brush, you'll notice you're going to get a ton of paint buildup. Ton of paint buildup on the brush, which you have to wipe off. You'll end up throwing more paint away. Not that I lay awake at night worrying about that stuff. I don't. All right. Yeah, so I've mixed the color like raw umber. Congratulations. But it has some differences. One is it's more opaque. Two, it's got a resonance of actual red mixed in. I need more black. And the only opacity in it came from the yellow ochre, because this is transparent, that's transparent, and that's transparent. And the white, I don't have any white in that, and I don't even know if I use any white in the land, which is another place where I can differentiate things. I like this. So I'm using the very ends of the brush to kind of get a soft feeling there. I have a lot of strategies for edges, some of which I remember to tell you. Okay, well, I didn't mix very much paint. I just came up with more of those same colors. I want this flat. I want some gradation like you saw in the reference, but a lot of transparency in this as well. I'm not a fan of the guy that you might hear in the background here. Hopefully I don't have to pay his estate. Not my kind of music. Yeah, like that. Like it. You can bring in some other stuff over the top, but I'm going to start flat. Yeah, that's why when you saw me pulling my arms in like that, that means I'm coming in from the side. And some of these areas where I've done things with the swamp, I can back up with actual paint now. We can always plop in a few more darks, but if you plop in the darks, you had the darks there, and then you can bring it back. But whereas if you had everything light and wet, you'd never get it to be dark. And it's time to start modulating a bit. And to modulate, we will add red and we will add ochre. So we become redder and ochreier. Redder and ochreier. Yes, it's gonna look a lot like the color that's there. Maybe I went too far. Maybe I went too far. That's what she said. Okay. Painting is almost like the transparent color underneath, so like that. And we will do a few just don't want it too flat, but I've decided to vary it with like these vertical strokes. Ochre. Probably gotta put more ochre in my palette too. So you say, I don't like that kind of music. Well, no, not really. What kind of music do you like, Mike? I like kind of epic-y music. I like Genesis, Bowie, 80s goth bands and stuff. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm happy. And I'm gonna do the same sort of thing over here, only there. Someone tells me bring in more red. It's quite red there, so why? I don't know. Yellow ochre. Yeah, I mean, I don't really get into the galvans with that stuff because it's earth pigment. I'm talking like brush right up. The earth pigments, they're not expensive. I don't believe there's huge differences between the professional grade and the student grade when it comes to the earth pigments. So that's one reason that I go with the big giant tubes of student grade. Yeah, so as I come in, I want like a semi place where skyish tones. Start looking into that. Might be a place to bring in some more white because I don't want it like reading like sky. So I know if I bring in white with the raw umber tone, it's going to give me like a tan. A little yellow too. I don't want it in isolation. Probably, I think isolation must be one of those words. Is actually French, started as a French word. Yellow ochre, faux sienna. Whoa! We're just going. Yeah, yellow ochre, faux sienna. Like that. Don't overwork things. You know, you got to come to terms with the fact that things aren't going to be perfect, and that a lot of creativity is coming from the universe. I mean, you're the one that wanted to do the painting, and the painting wouldn't be happening without you. But let's face it, you want to take all the credit for every creative endeavor you engage in. Like every other stroke is coming from the universe, really. So take some credit, but don't be crazy. Yeah, like that. These feel very isolated. Weird. But, on the palette, I'm going to get some of that. Use a touch of black because we're not matching. It's one of the beauty parts of the limited palette, and you know, I mean, I can match almost any color I do ever because it may not look like it in 14 colors or so, but I don't have infinite colors on my palette. Look at that. Remember I talked about how I'm not that into these tree holes. I might just leave one or none. I just don't feel like they're adding much. In fact, I kind of much more prefer that sort of gradation, where I've got like some darker trees. And I'm not a slave to the reference. I can do what I want. Also, that helps me here in the bottom. Red. Oh, we're using a lot more of this faux sienna.
Using a lot more of this than I thought I was gonna, but it's because the reddishness. I know I'm talking like a freshman, but the reddishness doesn't pour.
You've got to address it, or you know, or when. I'm not far from done, at least done with the initial painting section. So this is what I was up to. I need black. I need umber. I need red. And I got way too much paint on my brush. Yeah. I also don't mind having some bit of a thicker paint there. A lot of this is really on thin. Yeah. You know, many people manage to go around this roundabout out here without accelerating. I have to think that. Mostly it's guys accelerating, and I'm thinking that parts of their anatomy may be inadequate. I'm just saying, can you keep this channel family friendly? Or maybe they have little fingers that are one finger shorter than the other, so they feel the need to accelerate, make a bunch of noise with their engine. I don't know. Don't know it. What am I going to do here? Well, I think I'm going to lean on this red. And here, some of that. More red. I basically want to kind of put a color that's like that already, see? Some of this. A little bit of complexity here. I don't just want it all blurry, whatever. Got quite a lot of latitude in landscapes to do things like that. Alright, so down here, I'm going to get back into this with some oil, some black, and you notice I'm going black. I'm going umber into black, which is going to give me a much darker color than if I went black and umber. And the reason is I got to reinforce on this now. I need this contrast, and I'm going to need it fairly dark because I'm working on top of wet paint. So you're going to be able, what you can do is going to be limited. Let the imagination of your viewer fill in details. Watch out for dual parallels like that. This is not the brush to fix that with. That would have made a giant mess. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to wipe this brush off. All I really need to do is just... Remember, I added those points to kind of add some complexity. Very light touch here. I like the streaks, I just don't want them so messy. I don't mind a bit of that, actually. I'm not sure what I'm doing here with these two marks either. You can see we're getting close though, and I'm starting to get icky, persnickety. And one thing I do is I keep leaning back. I recommend you do that in your work. So yes, I am softening, but strategically, not robotically. This would be a better brush for that, because I don't want to make any streaks. I don't need my glass, you know. So we're just doing little things, catching your eyes. Whoa, that's a much darker color. Oh my god! Oh my goodness! Wipe off your brush into the white, into the yellow. Could have been just stuff on my brush or whatever. I don't want to overdo it. And I want to go with another layer of this color. So this. So yeah, just because I did like those edges, I just felt they were a little harsh. Don't get all tweaky with this stuff. Don't. Oh, stop it. Okay. Yeah, I feel like one thing that's in the reference here is like this actually drops off into another step. I think I'll leave some of that. Get into some of the lead white, yellow ochre. Still need a different in the sky. Same deal here. This is very flat, and I want it somewhat flat. I just don't want everything totally flat. I'm not loading the complete another straightness of that. I just want some of this complexity. bowl. Alright, so we're getting close. We're getting close because I don't want to keep all that good stuff. That's the kind of thing I might do the second pass. I don't know if I'll be doing a second pass on this. I don't think I'd be dramatically improving it. It's first of all very simple scene. Well, I mean, I could find ways to improve it, but anytime you load things, put that painting on the easel, be prepared to lose a lot more than you gain. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that for nothing. By the way, I have a website, landscapepainter.co.nz. You go visit it. I got a shop there. I got a blog, a lot of blogs. Blogs going back to like 2007 or something like that. No, 2009, sorry. Because I started blogging it like as soon as I started painting. If you dig around, you'll find that stuff. You'll even see pre-Tonalist paintings there. You'll see me doing some of that photo stuff that I was telling you not to do. Although I did some good paintings. You know, the universe did definitely set me up to succeed. It wasn't really until I started getting to New Zealand where I started tanking. I spent several years just struggling. I mean, I did a few good paintings, but a heck of a lot more that were too dark or too much detail or bad composition. There's so many ways to fail. So many ways. I failed all of them. Oh, what am I doing? I know what I'm doing. I keep telling myself that. And the lean back. There's little people in the reference. I ain't me. I might if this was a little bigger. I just think it'd be a big struggle. And then that struggle could be the thing that ruins the painting. So, don't need it. Don't want it. That would have been a mistake. I just avoided going in there with the light brush. It would have been a big mistake. But just catch some of those light catching bits there. That's probably a mistake too. That's alright. Just a bit. Over smooth it. And I do think we have a few little things going on here. I'm going to use this brush. I've been using it for sky, but I'm going to go into this pile of stuff here. Because it's a brush that's mostly been used for sky, there's going to be a lot of stuff in it. Just a few, nothing, alright? A few bits here. A few bits there. Things capture interest.
Okay, I'm going to go to ECOS, but do you guys have any IFPOS rolls?
Huh?
Do you got any IFPOS rolls?
No.
Do you go to ECOS? No, they're all out.
What's ECOS?
Oh, they do the IFPOS rolls.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, he's got some.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if they'll fit yours though.
I think I just have to take some stuff off them. And then I'll have to get them some.
Yeah, and even I get crazy with this stuff, by the way. You'll think, oh yeah, that's really making it awesome. And it does, it is, don't get me wrong. A bit of this is gonna make it awesome, but less is more. Don't get crazy. I think we're ready to call this a day. This went pretty quick. Really liking that in it. Keep in mind that those were originally just etched out with this one. Don't get crazy. I want to keep that vague there. There's a bunch of things in the reference it could do. I don't think it's a good plan. Keep it vague because a bit too vague because going into the yellow and the white. See that? How you doing? Shush, Denny. Too strong as it goes into there. It's quite a lot of, this is one of the main places where you can see there's mist. And I got almost no paint on my palette here, so it's like struggling a little bit. Yeah. Lean back, blur your vision. I think that works out. I'm gonna leave it there. It looks like water too, so I'm gonna leave that. I could mess with that for days. Now one thing is catching my eyes. Looks like I've created a halo here, so you don't want to leave things like that. So I'm gonna go in here, grab a dot of that, because remember, I'll never get something like that without. If you remember how we started, which wasn't that long ago, there was a bit of a combination of all the colors that went into the light. That's it. Just don't want a pinchy halo. I don't mind some variants, and then leave it. Leave it, leave it, leave it, leave it, leave it, leave it. Like that. I'm not loving the roundness of this. It's a two-part process. One part will be brighting it with the sky. Second part will be adding a little. I don't love that shape. I hate it. I don't really hate it. I want to see like that knitted. preference, it goes zap all the way over. So I'm not loving how harsh this is. You know, there's pebbles, and there's grass, there's a bunch of things, even though I didn't do a bunch of grass. You see how little you gotta do to really imply grass, not much at all. Look at those grasses, look at those grass. Watch out, these kind of are the same. Especially watch out for that kind of thing when you're inventing things. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Now, see a few little things I'm gonna drop you up here. Don't get crazy with this stuff. You can smooth your whole painting out. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to look at your smooth painting. It looks like glass. As much as I get on the abstract guys and the modern artists, you know, before they came along, people were doing a lot of that, and you know, something had to give. Got at least some imperfection. I just look for things that are real eye-catching, real incongruous. Hopefully I catch them now, but sometimes the whole painting will go, I'll even sell it. You know, later on I might be looking at a photo I took of it. I do like this mark, but I don't like the bottom of it. So. Sacrifice. I'm pretty happy with this painting. Hopefully you enjoyed watching me do it. It'll be one of those ones that'll just be first pass. Oh heck, if you want to buy it off me, just you send me an email, go to my site. Landscape Painter. Co.nz. I'll pop a little frame on it. People's homes. I really did a good. I know that's bad what you're doing there, like it's got to be completely clean. I don't mind some spottiness, but watch out for that little fuzz, little fuzzies. Yeah, well, that's it. Nice, eh? Okay, I'll pause this and then we'll come back and say goodbye. Hold on. Thank you for joining me today. This was fun, hey? Yeah, you can, you know, copy along if you want. If you do, it's called attribution. You just put after, colon, and Francis McCarthy. You're good. You're good. All good. Anyway, like I said, thank you for joining me today. I'll be back real soon with another video. Meanwhile, please take good care and stay out of trouble.